how technology need to be used by businessmen. What do you think? Sanjay, I have seen that you were talking about data analytics and how data can be used in the business organizations. So shall we quickly look into that particular subject in depth or else in deeply, how the SME, I'm not talking about the big companies, say very small business person, how he can use this data analytics for his business. If somebody is watching this video from other country other than Sri Lanka, so what kind of investment opportunities they are having, especially the port city is being open right now. So what is your idea on that? Okay. How SME person can promote their business, especially in social media, and what are the main social media streams that you are suggesting? Welcome to Business Advisor Global channel. I think all of you are aware that what we are doing basically we are promoting entrepreneurship in your country basically, because we are based in Sri Lanka. So we have invited many Sri Lankans to discuss about the entrepreneurship and especially the new trends in technologies and various things. So we have had many interviews with Sri Lankan expert. Today also I have invited to one of the most influential character in Sri Lanka, especially in the technology side, which he always talk about the technology and how we can use it in our day-to-day business life. So he is none other than Sanjaya Elvitigala. So Sanjaya, welcome to Business Advice Global channel.
Thank you for having me, Viraj.
Right. So shall we start from the beginning, because I just want to know. First of all, shall we explain how the technology is important for the business, because the particular viewer might be not in Sri Lanka, he might be in other countries, Maldives or India. Basically, we are just targeting the South Asian market. How technology need to be used by the entrepreneurship or the businessman? What do you think?
Well, that depends on a lot of factors. The nature of the business is one of the main things, and the target audience. However, there are basic things that you should do as a business, and you must use technology for that. IT and tech is mostly a supportive engagement for a business. Okay. It's not the cooperation of the business. Unless you are making softwares yourself or making software for other clients as IT service, all the other businesses use IT as a supportive service. So where can IT and tech support your service? The goal has to be to automate things. Okay. And to make them more productive. Do the same things in a very less time and in a correct way, in a more accurate way. And then delve into business intelligence. See what your data tells you and where the market is heading, where your products are heading, how your customers interact with you, what are the touch points, what are the feedback you're getting from the customers, are you delivering service that you have promised them or that you have marketed in your advertising material. Finally at the end of the day, how is the satisfaction of your customers? So all these things can come into a database, and then basically those data and interactions can be visualized. So once this visualization happens, everybody in the company will get a common understanding. Now mostly what happens is in organizations, each person has a different understanding or different view of the organization. They may not given access to certain data or certain things. But more than that, they have a different perspective of the organization based on the data and experiences they are exposed to. But if you can narrate the whole story from where we are and where we should go, and this is how we are getting there, and this is how far we have made it. If you can visualize it data-wise and as a story, everybody can understand it. The moment everyone in the company understand where you are heading and that objective, and everybody will start working towards it, rather than going here and there. And that focus is really important for every business to grow. So that's the main thing that tech can do for you.
Okay. Sanjay, I have seen that you were talking about data analytics and how data can be used in the business organizations. So shall we quickly look into that particular subject in depth or else in deeply, how the SME, I'm not talking about the big companies, say very small business person, how he can use this data analytics for his business?
Okay, it's very simple actually. It's not that complicated. You have to record everything. Record in the sense, not video record. You have to make a record of the time you entered the company, time you left, the time, how many deliveries you have made, if it's a delivery company. Based on your nature of your work, how many projects have I delivered. So it actually has to be designed from your job description as well. The HR department and the CEO, C-suite has to come together. Maybe in a small company, they are all the same, right? HR and the C-suite may be the same people. So they come together and they discuss, and they have to have job descriptions designed for the people who are doing a certain task in the company. And they need to verify, or they need to come to an agreement, okay, this person needs to be this much proficient in that activity, and this person needs to achieve these KPIs per month or per year or whatever. The targets has to be set. Once those targets are set, you hire that person, hire a suitable person, and then train them and make sure that they record everything that they do. Or a system is placed in itself to make that automate. I mean, if you're working on a certain project or a certain task and you're busy with that, it's always a tendency for you to forget to record it, right?
Exactly.
So what happens is a software tool can be used for that. So we use, since we are an IT company, we use something called Time Doctor, which monitors your activity. It doesn't record your screen. We can do that if we want, but we don't want to do that for privacy reasons. But we record the time they entered, logged in, and what are the main activities they have done on the system. All these things are logged in, and we can measure his productivity at the end of the month as a visual report. So likewise, have systems in place to record each person's activity and KPI output, right? And then matches that against the actual set goal and whether there's a discrepancy in that. So that's the basic level of data understanding. So when you design that system for everybody in the company, there is a whole lot of data, and there's a whole lot of visualization that you can do, and you can use that information to make decisions at the end of the month.
Yeah, when it comes to data analytics, Sanjay, I think you also will agree with me. So the Google, when you look at the Google, so they are the one who is mostly using analytics even for us, because most of the things will be suggested to us. I hope because of the data analytics that they have done. Isn't it?
Yes, data analytics, and also they do experiments. So all this data that we give them, the logged in time, the sites we have visited, how much time we have spent on each site, what are the buttons we have clicked, what are we have searched for, where we are living, and based on that, what my preferences. Then if you take Meta, they have whole lot of information than Google. They sometimes say listen to our mics even. So maybe that can happen because in some cases, yes. If you take the Meta headset, yes, they do listen because it's in their agreement. So either you can opt out from that. But however, they collect all the data. So where we have been to, the locations, how many times we have spent on a certain restaurant, everything they know. So they get that data, and sometimes they do experiments based on that data. If they cannot make a prediction out of that data for a specific person, they suggest you things. Right? They categorize people based on their common characteristics, and they give out questionnaires, MCQs. When you're browsing YouTube, you sometimes get a question. When you're using TikTok, you sometimes get an MCQ. You have to touch.
Yes,
you do that. So when you do that, it trains the algorithm to provide you better understanding. And they also know that we have sent these questions to this type of people, and these type of people like this answer very much, and the other type does not like that answer. They have put a different answer. So based on that, they also change their data model and they change their decision making. So it's a huge process.
Sanjay, we were just talking about only the data analytics, but we can see even not in South Asian, even the entire world, or most of the businesses now, they are using the social media for their business, even the small medium businesses. We have seen that a lot of Indian businessmen, they are promoting sometime in TikTok or else Reels. We can see a lot of videos. So how SME person can promote their business, especially in social media, and what are the main social media streams that you are suggesting?
Again, depending on the business. So if you are doing a B2B, I always suggest LinkedIn and maybe some YouTube for customer awareness. But if you take a country like India, so it's a huge market, the largest market in the world, and most probably the second. It's going to be the second largest economy, I believe. So China and they are very much same. So it depends on the business again. So if it's a B2B, again, LinkedIn is the best, and maybe YouTube for some awareness raising and education of the customers. If it's a retail, of course, Instagram. So I'm not saying Facebook now because most of the retail products targeted at youngsters don't work on Facebook anymore. But if you have a couple of children with that above 35, above 30, basically, you can still use Facebook based on the target audience. And there's Snapchat, there's WhatsApp business is a very good tool to
Exactly. Yes.
maintain your customer contacts, group them, and even sell products now. So you can basically use all the tools, be everywhere.
What is your idea about the TikTok?
TikTok is one of the greatest marketing tools that I've ever built. You can within a minute you can educate the customer, you can convert the customer, and you can make a sale even.
Okay.
But you have to do it correctly. TikTok recently introduced for us Sri Lankans. I don't know whether it was in India before, that you can also promote the video.
Exactly.
Compared to Facebook, it's really cheap and the reach is really high. So if you do a good enough video, it will reach millions if just for $10. So it's a huge marketing benefit for us that we can use that.
Okay. Sanjay, what is the duration you are suggesting if somebody is willing to make video for their business? Suppose he might be doing very small business, flower seller, just an example. So what should be the duration if somebody is doing videos in TikTok or Instagram Reels?
Okay. So if you are making content for such businesses, have some videos. Most of the core of your video should be 1 to 3 minutes, but make 15-second videos also. Like very quick, fun stuff. And then make a little bit longer, some with some description, some explanation, 1 to 3 minutes. And if you are really passionate and if you're doing research on the subject, you're trying to do new things and you're experimenting and you want to share that knowledge with the world, do a YouTube that could be 10 to 20 minutes max. Right. So when you do that 15-second and 1 minute video, you can do it on TikTok. The same video can be published on Instagram. The same video can publish on YouTube Shorts, and the same can go on your Facebook Reels as well. So you can repurpose the content to appear in all of the major social media platforms. But use LinkedIn for that education part, where the longer videos can be linked. The longer YouTube video can be directly linked to LinkedIn, and they don't give you a penalty for pasting an external social media link in their post. So LinkedIn is really good in that way. So you can really promote the business there, get some B2B awareness. But for consumers, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, depending on the market.
Sanjay, make me if I'm wrong. So in LinkedIn, when you are sharing a YouTube video, so because actually one of the Sri Lankan best LinkedIn active person has he gave me an advice. When you are sharing any video, just share the particular link in the comment section. Why is that? Is there any particular reason?
Okay. So in my case, I have not exactly experienced that when I put
But I have done it. Okay. It reaches a lot more than when I make
attendance in every social media is likely that they don't want to send people away from their platform, right?
Exactly.
So that's the basic thing. So they can go out. But in my case, my experience, for my post, somehow I don't see a difference between post that does not have a link and a post that do have a link. So I get the same kind of engagement, maybe just my personalized whatever thing that they are doing. But as a rule of thumb, yes, always go for a link in the first comment, whatever.
Okay. And you were talking about the longer videos. Now that also really popular even in the world, podcast, because it goes more than 1 hour. What do you think about that?
Again, depending on the subject. So if you're doing a retail business, some retail businesses does not have that much of content to be discussed about, right? They are just businesses, quick sale, very simple thing. So if you want to discuss a lot about us in that area, you may not have the content for that. But there are businesses where it has a lot of content. So if you're in a food business, if you're in the restaurant business, yes, almost every country, every culture has different types of dishes, food, and you can talk days and days about those. Even if your restaurant only does Indian food, it doesn't matter. You can talk about any other food and have a lot of following, and that following can be easily converted to sales using your influential power. So again, so you have to be knowledgeable too, because you need to speak something all the time and share an idea with all the time. So to do an episode, because I do podcasts, I know unless you don't know your stuff, it's really hard to conduct a podcast, because the host also needs to know. Otherwise, to have a 1 hour, 2 hour podcast, it's going to be really boring. And if you don't know the subject, you don't have anything to ask or anything to share. Right, so the guest will also, become bored, and the people who watch also see that this person does not know the subject, and they don't have the necessary ideologies to share. So that's really important. Unless you don't have the knowledge, we don't have the knowledge. Get it. Watch other podcasts, and as well as read books and get that knowledge.
Okay, next question I just want to ask from Sanjay, because since you are in the social media, what do you think? Because most of the people who are in the world, they like to do the videos in their native language, right? Even Sri Lanka, if you look at, we have only 22 million population, but we have forget about the 600 million the world population, because they don't know our language. So what do you think, if everyone is doing the videos in English? What do you think? What will happen to them?
So that again, it comes down to red ocean and blue ocean theory. For example, if you're doing single content, you are only competing for the screen time of the users in 22 million, as well as your niche. So it's kind of a niched area where people are looking for what you're talking about. You have a targeted niche. If you go English, that means you are competing with whatever that number you said.
600 million.
Hundreds of millions of people for the same area of content area. So obviously the native English speakers get an advantage because of their way they speak and the accent and all that. And sometimes they are based in a certain area where they are also in an English speaking country. So obviously they will get native followers among them, and they will get a good enough reach that we can see their content from the other end of the world. But if we do a content, it's really unlikely that a large following within Sri Lanka who can speak English will follow you. That's not there. So you have to have a very specific targeted strategy to get certain English speaking and understanding people around you. So that does not directly come from a native English speaking country, unless you do a very specific niche and a very technical subject. If you're talking about general things, there's already a lot of people doing that in their countries too. So they don't have quite a reason to follow us unless we have something really special to share. Unless the host is a multi-billionaire who does many amounts of business and generates a lot of buzz around media, especially in English media, like all their TV channels, then you will get some sort of a push. Otherwise, you have to target a very specific niche if you're doing English.
Up to a certain extent, I agree with you, Sanjay. But if you look at the Indian YouTubers, right? So I have seen that their language and the accent is not like the European. But they do have a good reach. What do you think?
That is because it's obviously India, so Indian market. So they have done promotions. Maybe they have done promotions. They have their own social media following in that country, right? So obviously you have, even in Sri Lanka, when you do an English podcast, if you continuously do it, you will get 20,000, 30,000 views out of the existing population, because we have a base that is interested in it. And India, it's like 100 times bigger than that because of the population. Yeah. So once you get that, YouTube will detect, okay, this podcast is being watched by thousands, let's promote it to millions, and that millions will come from Europe, Australia, America.
Okay, Sanjay, now as I told you, a lot of the people who are interested in business are watching this channel. So what is your idea? Because we were talking about how to use the data analytics and the social media, and what are the other guidance that you can give us, especially for I'm talking only about the MSME, that is small and medium entrepreneurs, but less than that is we call micro, or else we can get less than the SME category. So what is your idea, and what are the other aspects that they need to look at
in terms of
technology? We have we have discussed only about the data analytics side and the social media. In terms of technology, what are the other areas they can use?
Okay, so you have to follow the influencers. It's not the influencers per se who are just reiterating news sources. So there are a lot of news popping up in tech and all this business. So there are people who take that and reiterate the same thing. So you won't get much value from those. But follow the real influencers. Follow the real big shots in your industry. You can do it on LinkedIn. You can do it on YouTube. You can do it on Facebook. So all these social media, they are present, right? They may not do it personally, but their team is doing it. So you can just follow them up and watch what they do and read what they do. And also follow magazines like Harvard Business Review. So several magazines who are directly connected to business as well as technology, Bloomberg, all that, Forbes. And then read a lot of books, right? You have to read a lot of books. If you don't have time to read the books, you can do audio books, or you can do an app where they summarize the book. And there are YouTube channels where the book is read by them and they summarize it into a 10-minute or 5-minute thing. So you get the crux of what they are saying. So do that. And there are a lot of mobile apps where you can subscribe to such services where they discuss certain aspects and summarize the books as well as answer your questions. So there are specific consulting social media apps, consulting mobile apps that you can install on your phone, and on the go you can get a snippets of education, snippets of wisdom from those.
Okay.
So be in touch with that. And you, if you are good at your job, if you are good at building your business, you will obviously see a connection, whether it's in marketing, it's in sales or HR or in tech, whatever. You will obviously see a connection. If I were to do a certain thing, if I want to achieve a certain objective, I am lacking certain number of things. These the things I lack can be compensated by the new knowledge that I have gained. Okay. So all the new knowledge can be gained and implemented using IT and tech mostly. With AI is very easy now. So you can do that and get certain processes up and running faster and more efficiently. Especially where the knowledge and data is exchanging, especially in a process where data is present. Every process like that can be automated, mostly automated.
Okay, that's great, Sanjay. And now I'm coming to the end of this interview. Basically, we were talking about the Sri Lanka and the other South Asian countries. So what are your suggestions? I have seen that you have mentioned even in the LinkedIn and many other sources that how we need to do our digitalization, right? So what are your suggestions for the digitalization, especially a country like us, and how we can improve?
For any country, if they are going forward in digitalization. For example, Sri Lanka is not that much in terms of government aspect, has not digitalized itself. But we have seen countries like Estonia as a fully digital run country. So the philosophy behind that is basically you need to use digitalization to make people do what they want to do rather than what they have to do. So what they have to do, you have to replace that with all the possible digitalization, with all the possible tools and technologies to make sure that what they have to do takes a very little amount of time. Just a thought and few minutes, few clicks, and it's done. Like filing your taxes and going to the government and do stuff like that, and enrolling your kid in a school like that. So all these things you have to do, make them easiest as possible. And then for the things that you want to do, you make sure that your productivity is higher. I mean, government can intervene in certain aspect, but mostly it's up to the individual. So government can take away all those hassle, and then you are left with enough time to do what you want to do. So you have to step into that.
Right. Okay. Before wrap up the session, Sanjay, I just want to discuss a little bit about especially in Sri Lanka, there are many investment opportunities, especially if somebody is watching this video from other country other than Sri Lanka. So what kind of investment opportunities they are having, especially the port cities being open right now. So what is your idea on that? Okay.
Port cities were really similar to Dubai Free Zone.
Okay.
So you can come as an external entity and set it up there. So there are a lot of perks. The visa programs are really easy. You can just set it up here. No restrictions on currency, sending in and out, and no taxes payable to Sri Lankan government unless there's a fee to be set up in Port City. Apart from that, so it's like a global hub that is happening in the Southeast Asia. So even companies in Sri Lanka who are servicing outside clients, outside customers, now are interested in setting up their shop in Port City. So I invite whoever is watching. There's a big opportunity in Sri Lanka. So it's pretty similar to what you are used to in other countries, in Singapore and Dubai, but at a much finer or much better climate, with a much better, beautiful country with good people and good facilities. So it really gonna give Dubai a run for its money when we start the thing next year. So a really good opportunity if you are an early bird investor, early bird company, you can just come in and set it up. And these times are the best to do that.
In terms of especially the infrastructure side, also Starlink is been established in Sri Lanka. So that also we need to discuss.
So Sri Lanka is now getting connected to all these global facilities like Starlink, for example, already set up shop here, and they are going to issue the connections most probably later this year or next year, and the country as a focus, the government is also interested in developing digital native friendly environment. So you can do business in any part of the world, but you can come into Sri Lanka and do your work from here. Also the best thing is that the climate and especially if you come here it's not as a Sri Lankan, but if you look at our the country's resources as well as the places you can visit.
Yeah.
I mean, within couple of hours you can change your climate from you can get an experience of England. Then another 2 hours you can get an experience of another country, like mostly maybe it's a beach, maybe it's a forest, maybe it's an ancient city. So all these experiences are within few hours drive.
Exactly.
Right. So it's a beautiful country. You must come, and you will get a experience like no
amazing
other.
experience.
Amazing experience.
Sanjay, one more question now. Since I was discussing with you so long hours, now you are wearing Wisdom LMS. So
Yes.
what does it mean by Wisdom LMS, and what are you doing basically with that?
Okay, so Wisdom LMS is our product. It's a software as a service learning management platform. So we have designed it so corporates, institutes, teachers and coaches, individual teachers and coaches, whatever the size of your organization, you can implement your knowledge initiatives using our platform.
Okay.
So basically it was one of the tools that we have discussed to increase the productivity of your company.
Okay.
So if you are an SME or even a micro SME or a large organization, you can drive the effectiveness of your workforce by upskilling them. Okay. In order to upskill them, you need to give them activities, lessons, quizzes, assessments, interactive activities. All this knowledge sharing within your organization can be planned and happen through our platform. So we facilitate that as a software platform at a very affordable price as well as a lot of features. So we are competing with other global companies as well.
Okay.
So we are hoping that this product will become a major hit from Sri Lanka in the next couple of years.
That's great. Sanjay, shall we a little bit explain about if somebody we have recruited to our organization? So how is the process if somebody is using your Wisdom LMS, right? How he can get familiar with the things that the organization is doing, because you told that it's a learning management system. How they can do that kind of a infrastructure facility? Can they build up through your system?
Yes, of course. This is designed in a way to support recruitment. Okay. But more than that, plus recruitment, it will increase the productivity, overall productivity.
Okay.
How we do that is there's a feature in our platform. We measure the user, whoever may be a new recruit or experienced person. We measure their knowledge level based on certain activities, and based on the responses, we customize. It automatically happens within the system. We customize their learning path. So each person will get a different learning path based on their knowledge. So if they lack a knowledge in certain area, that will be pushed more towards them to conduct and study rather than the areas that they don't know. So these areas can be decided by the management whether this area is important to our company. They can decide. So we also have a large knowledge bank. Course bank where we can integrate that into the platform, so people can buy the LMS with those courses, or they can create in-house activities and in-house content for the platform. Whatever they do, they can create customized learning path and personalized learning paths for the employees, and obviously that will make sure that they understood and they follow company standards and they know the subject in and out, and the LMS will make sure that all that talent is analyzed and is presented to the management as well.
Sanjay, what kind of organization basically you are looking for this one? Because do they need to have a minimum number of staff, something like that?
Minimum number in this case, we would say we have a minimum package, minimum like a minimum slab. So we start pricing at $50 per month. Okay. So that's the base minimum price, $50 per month. You can have up to 50 employees. And then you grow from there. There's a free version also for 10 people. So you can just try out the system. And if you like it, then you can move on to the subscription.
Right. That's another...
The launch, currently we are catering to Sri Lankan and few foreign corporates. Okay. And the grand launch of the platform will happen at the end of November.
Right. So if you are watching this video from India, or else most of the viewers are from Maldives, so this is really good time for you to invest in Sri Lanka. Port City is open for you, and you can enjoy a lot of tax benefits as well. So thank you very much, Sanjay, for being part of this discussion, and especially for your knowledge sharing, because I hope majority of got a lot of knowledge and a lot of basically insights from your discussion. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, Raj.